Kevin, how does this new surge in the virus, particularly in Florida, a key battleground state, even Arizona I can put in that group, but how does a virus in Florida change the next stimulus debate?
I think it puts pressure on Republicans to get some type of economic stimulus through before November. Look, President Trump has laid this out very clearly in public comments, Tom, that he made to reporters yesterday, saying that he is in favor of there being another round of economic stimulus. Now, that's going to open up some different divisions within the Republican Party, many of whom say that as states reopen, that's the best type of stimulus for them, especially as economists are now predicting there to be a stepped up recovery entering into the third quarter and the fourth quarter of this year, right around Election Day. But more broadly speaking, whether we're talking about infrastructure, whether it's Treasury Secretary Mnuchin suggesting that a second tax delay, filing delay could be on the table as well, there are many different economic tools at the White House's disposal that could be factored in as we get closer to November 3rd.
The Democrats, though, have to have the up and up. I mean, let's take the stimulus debate and what Speaker Pelosi and Senator Schumer and others would do. You saw progressive victories in the primaries yesterday, and now you see a progressively shocking poll from the New York Times on Vice President Biden. The Democrats have to feel good. Why should they cooperate with stimulus with a Republican?
Well, exactly. And in fact, every Democratic strategist, Tom, that I speak with says that the Biden campaign wants to make this a referendum election against President Trump and not a choice election between the two candidates. It's why you're seeing the Democrats only agree to 3 presidential debates, one of which, by the way, was moved from Michigan to Florida because of COVID-19. This is the uptick, and Florida continues to make headwaves. Beyond that, in terms of that poll, that New York Times poll, which has Biden leading Trump by 14 percentage points that just came out within the last 12 hours. This is definitely something that the Democrats feel at this point is theirs to lose. Yesterday, I spoke with a source on the vice president's campaign who said that in very clear terms, when they're going over strategy for how to continue through this summer, they really just want to get out of the way in this source's terms, in this source's words from the president, because of how he has stepped over himself in the past couple of weeks. From the president's reelection campaign, they look at the economic numbers. They look again at the projections of reopening, helping the economy, regardless of whether there's an uptick, and that the president is still receiving positive marks on how his handling of the economy has gone as potential seeds and a foundation to build on heading into the lead up to November.
Well, Kevin, let's get down to the state-by-state story. Let's get to Florida and talk about how Governor Ron DeSantis is handling things on the ground. Big question mark about how he's handling the reopening process at the moment. I just wonder how that's bleeding into the debate about who should be leading the country, Republican or Democrat, down in Florida.
You know, yesterday I spoke with former Congressman Patrick Murphy. He is a centrist Democrat who previously served and ran for Senate, lost to the current Senator Marco Rubio, who told me that the debate is alive and well in terms of the reopening, particularly of how senior citizens are being impacted in Florida. Florida, we all know, a crucial battleground state in elections and presidential elections. It was a state that the president carried in 2016, also a state that he has deep ties to, given Mar-a-Lago. However, we should note that the senior population, senior citizens, a crucial demographic for electoral politics in that state, and the president has really significantly taken a hit amongst senior citizens in the last couple of weeks. Still not too late for him to rebuild there. But also look at the Hispanic vote in that state. And that's why, again, COVID-19 is so important. Trade policy is so important. But the geopolitics of that region, whether we're talking about Venezuela and trade, also as important.
Kevin, I want to just get back to the big story in my mind, which is stimulus and further potential support for households. How much pressure will there be among legislators to re-up the unemployment benefits, the enhanced unemployment benefits, or possibly resend out some checks if there aren't official shutdowns, but you see slowdowns with a lack of confidence that people can go out and not get sick?
Well, Lisa, get this. I mean, you've got to your point precisely. Many of these states that are having the uptick, as Jonathan and Tom were saying, are red states. And so that's where the unemployment benefits debate really becomes so incredibly layered and textured, because many of the Republicans who are raising concerns about the economics of this are also staring down upticks in terms of that virus. So as this continues into the fall, and I do want to note that Dr. Fauci yesterday testifying before Congress saying that he is cautiously optimistic that a vaccine be in the market by the end of the year in the United States is a massive, massive sign of optimism for Dr. Fauci to say that. However, that's what's really weighing on Republicans right now, is a wait-and-see approach.